Private matches. It's been getting discussed more and more among the Destiny YouTube content creators lately, and I know it's been a question over the past year or so. What's up with private matches? Are we getting them or not? Why or why not? Quite a few people want private matches in Destiny. The competitive scene definitely wants them, clans want them, Reddit wants them. Most first-person shooter games ship with some sort of private match settings that let people do whatever they want, set up their own rules, things like that. For a competitive scene to even start growing in Destiny beyond all the problems it might have now, the very first thing you'll need is a way for teams to actually queue into each other instead of the stunts that we have to pull now. Setting up other rules would be helpful as well, like no heavy, no this, no that, whatever it might be. Setting up personal rules would be cool as well because it would allow the community to come up with some really interesting game modes, although Bungie would need to build some GTA 5 level of customization for any system like that to exist. Here's why I don't think we'll see private matches though, at least not in the next couple of months or anything like that. I have it on pretty good authority that private matches are some of the least frequently used functions in games, at least in first-person shooters. How not frequently? Like, actually uses in-game Destiny voice chat low. Well, maybe not that low, but still close enough to where I could even compare that number to something like voice chat. You guys remember that? Voice chat, how everyone supposedly wanted it, and then literally no one ended up using it? While I don't think private matches will end up with the same completely horrific fate, it might still be pretty close. The fact of the matter is that it's probably not worth Bungie's time and effort right now implementing something with such a low use rate for how difficult and or time consuming it would be to implement. Everyone loves to say Halo has private matches, Call of Duty has private matches, how hard could it be? Turns out it's hard, otherwise it probably would have been in the game by now. You see, Destiny doesn't function like Halo or Call of Duty or whatever FPS because it's all a completely linked world. There is no separate single player and multiplayer modes, it's all linked. That means putting in something like private matches isn't as simple, and I use that term very loosely, as doing it in a game where there are separations between single player and multiplayer. This, I would assume, makes things much more difficult to do. Need to rip away the benefits, aka the rewards, out of it as well, otherwise people will just cheat their way into getting loot. However, PvP players want something ranked playlist, rankings in general, anything, and that's where I think something is a little more likely to happen. It could be a set of another two playlists, maybe ranked control and ranked rift or something, and there could be ranked based matchmaking. But then you'll need ranked based full team queuing, otherwise you'll just have solo versus full group, and you can see how we might get carried away with the concept. They could have something on rotation every week, so one week it's ranked control, solo and full team, then next week it's a different mode. But then do you split the rankings based on mode or just keep it all linked together under one ranking? Do you rotate the modes or you just stick with one mode? I'm not really involved enough in the competitive scene to know what the answer should be. All this quote-unquote negative talk about private matches doesn't mean that I don't want them. I'm personally a big proponent of having private matches, but that's mainly because I have the capability of actually using them and using them frequently. I have a group of about 20 to 30 people that I play with on a near daily basis, so for me, it's easy to say that private matches are a no-brainer. For every one person like me though, there are probably 20 people asking for more ways to go solo content. So it only makes sense that Bungie would want to prioritize making content that more people are going to use or play. Hell, you can look at me as an example. You ever wonder where my Crucible content went? There was a time that I uploaded some Crucible content. The problem was that such a small fraction of my audience ended up watching it that it wasn't worth putting together Crucible content when I could spend the same amount of time making stuff that more people were going to watch. It's the same concept behind private matches. Bungie is going to prioritize making stuff that's going to be played and used more. Flip the coin again, and some people like to argue that, well, Crucible is littered with problems and if they were fixed or more things were added, more people would PvP. And I think that's true and false. You're not going to get a non-PvPer to go PvP just because a new game mode is out or new ranked systems are in place, because a non-PvPer probably doesn't PvP because of a skill issue. It's not really for everyone. You probably would get some people like myself who don't PvP very often to maybe come back and play it a little bit more than usual. I'll just pose this question to you guys. Would the sheer existence of private matches or ranked matches get you more interested in the competitive scene, whether it be making videos, watching streams, making your own rules, etc.? Because if the answer is no, well, then you have your reason as to why those things aren't around. Could they become a thing for whatever Destiny 2 ends up being called? Maybe. If you really want private matches, you gotta let Bungie hear it, but they've heard it. They know people want private matches. Every time I'm up in Seattle for an event, it's brought up by every YouTuber. Hey, so, you can do private matches? Trust me, they know. And I'm sure we'll get to a point where private matches do become a reality. But the fact that it'll probably be difficult to build private matches into Destiny flawlessly, combined with the fact that only a small percentage of the player base will use them in the first place, does not inspire much hope for the immediate future. That's all I gotta say on private matches, though. My friend Nkuch is going to be uploading a video soon on private matches as well. If you have interest in that, you can find him over at youtube.com/nkuchdestiny. The link is in the description. He's kind of the one leading the charge on this front. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.